Rhaenys Targaryen had no such easy conquest. A host of Dornish spearmen guarded the Prince's Pass, the gateway through the Red Mountains, but Rhaenys did not engage them. She flew above the pass, above the red sands and the white, and descended upon Vaith to demand its submission, only to find the castle empty and abandoned. In the town beneath its walls, only women and children and old men remained. When asked where their lords had gone, they would only say, away. Rhaenys followed the river downstream to Godsgrace, seat of House Alyrian, but it too was deserted. On she flew. Where the Greenblood met the sea, Rhaenys came upon the Planky town, where hundreds of poleboats, fishing skiffs, barges, houseboats, and hulks sat baking in the sun, joined together with ropes and chains and planks to make a floating city, yet only a few old women and small children appeared to peer up at her as Merryxes circled overhead. Finally the Queen's flight took her to Sunspear, the ancient seat of House Martell, where she found the Princess of Dorne waiting in her abandoned castle. Maria Martell was 80 years of age, the maesters tell us, and had ruled the Dornishmen for 60 of those years. She was very fat, blind, and almost bald, her skin sallow and sagging. Argilac. The arrogant had named her, the Yellow Toad of Dorne, but neither age nor blindness had dulled her wits. I will not fight you, Princess Maria told Rhaenys, nor will I kneel to you. Dorne has no king. Tell your brother that. I shall, Rhaenys replied, but we will come again, princess, and the next time we shall come with fire and blood. Your words, said Princess Maria. Ours are unbowed, unbent, unbroken. You may burn us, my lady. But you will not bend us, break us, or make us bow. This is Dorne. You are not wanted here. Return at your peril. Thus Queen and Princess parted, and Dorne remained unconquered. To the west, Aegon Targaryen met a warmer welcome. The greatest city in all of Westeros, Aldtown was ringed about with massive walls, and ruled by the Hightowers of the Hightower, the oldest, richest, and most powerful of the noble houses of the Reach. Aldtown was also the center of the faith. There dwelt the High Septon, father of the faithful, the voice of the new gods on earth, who commanded the obedience of millions of devout throughout the realms, save in the north, where the old gods still held sway, and the blades of the faith militant, the fighting order the smallfolk called the Stars and Swords. Yet when Aegon Targaryen and his host approached Aldtown, they found the city gates open and Lord Hightower waiting to make his submission. As it happened, when word of Aegon's landing first reached Aldtown, the High Septon had locked himself within the Starry Sept for 7 days and 7 nights, seeking the guidance of the gods. He took no nourishment but bread and water, and spent all his waking hours in prayer, moving from one altar to the next. And on the 7th day, the crone had lifted up her golden lamp to show him the path ahead. If Aldtown took up arms against Aegon the Dragon, His High Holiness saw, the city would surely burn, and the Hightower and the Citadel and the Starry Sept would be cast down and destroyed. Manfred Hightower, Lord of Aldtown, was a cautious lord and godly. One of his younger sons served with the warriors' sons, and another had only recently taken vows as a Septon. When the High Septon told him of the vision vouchsafed him by the crone, Lord Hightower determined that he would not oppose the conqueror by force of arms. Thus it was that no men from Aldtown burned on the field of fire, though the Hightowers were bannermen to the gardeners of Highgarden. And thus it was that Lord Manfred rode forth to greet Aegon the Dragon as he approached, and to offer up his sword, his city, and his oath. Some say that Lord Hightower also offered up the hand of his youngest daughter, which Aegon declined politely, lest it offend his 2 queens. 3 days later, in the Starry Sept, His High Holiness himself anointed Aegon with the 7 oils, placed a crown upon his head, and proclaimed him Aegon of House Targaryen, the first of his name, King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men, Lord of the 7 Kingdoms, and Protector of the realm. 7 Kingdoms, was the style used, though Dorne had not submitted. Nor would it, for more than a century to come. Only a handful of lords had been present for Aegon's first coronation at the mouth of the Blackwater, but hundreds were on hand to witness his second, and tens of thousands cheered him afterward in the streets of Aldtown as he rode through the city on Balerion's back. Amongst those at Aegon's second coronation were the maesters and archmaesters of the Citadel. Perhaps for that reason, it was this coronation, rather than the Egenfort crowning on the day of Aegon's landing, that became fixed as the start of Aegon's reign. Thus were the 7 kingdoms of Westeros hammered into one great realm, by the will of Aegon the Conqueror and his sisters. Many thought that King Aegon would make Aldtown his royal seat after the wars were done, whilst others thought he would rule from Dragonstone, the ancient island citadel of House Targaryen. The king surprised them all by proclaiming his intent to make his court in the new town already rising upon the 3 hills at the mouth of the Blackwater Rush, where he and his sisters had first set foot on the soil of Westeros. King's Landing, the new town would be called. From there Aegon the Dragon would rule his realm, holding court from a great metal seat made from the melted, twisted, beaten, and broken blades of all his fallen foes, a perilous seat that would soon be known through all the world as the Iron Throne of Westeros.